I'm just going to wait till they show up on all the pages.
Past week, I've heard of a few swords caught. I guess it's been, a couple of flat days out there. It's been nice.
Man, take care. You got to take advantage of that good weather while you can.
Oh, absolutely. I've had 2 days in the last week and a half where I got out. It was kind of a hard southwest, and that weather was coming through. Oh, it just shut everything down. It was so god awful slow. But in between, we got a ton, a bunch of big tunas and stuff. It was nice.
That's a good thing. Are you ready? Because we're getting ready to throw out those magic words that I love to use all the time.
Absolutely. Good to go.
Boom, boom. And we are back! Here I am, Fly Navarro, with the No BS World Tour. Today, I'm being joined in by Captain Mike Puller. Mike Puller is going to be talking a little bit about Sharktec Shark Repellent. And I don't know, is it just Shark Repellent or is it Shark Repellent Chum? I don't know exactly how.
It's called Shark Repellent Chum. It actually does have an attractive quality, but yeah, man, it's Shark Repellent first and foremost.
All right. So, good afternoon, Mike. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing great.
You went fishing today, so you definitely had a lot better day than most people. Oh yeah, this new overlay came out really, really good. I like it. So you got me on a good day now. I'm happy. I did something right. We're on a flow. Let's not mess this up, okay?
Hey, man, I already caught a few fish today, man. You can't spoil it for me.
I love it. Corey's in the house. Isabella's in the house from Medellin, Colombia. Gary Bacon, Curtis Josie from Carteret County is joining us. I haven't even turned on the other phone yet to see the other group. We're going to let everybody populate Facebook before we start talking all the crazy stuff. And for the one gentleman that complained about me being on every single group, I am not going to share it across all the groups. But I'm going to ask all you followers, go ahead and share it across your favorite group today. It wasn't me that did it. I love it. Susan Machacha, welcome to retirement. You've earned it. Cody Holcomb, Andrew Leaves is in the house. Good to see you. I heard. Oh my gosh! So, now I feel really horrible. My dog. I have a 13-year-old dog. Poor little thing. I shut the sliding glass door so she wouldn't come in here and start barking. She just walked into the glass door.
I heard that.
Oh my God! I feel horrible. Oh, that poor girl. Sorry, Sousa. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about what you caught today before we start the craziness.
Well, flat, calm day. We figured we'd take a poke offshore. So we looked around, hoping some of those mahis are starting to show up. I heard of a couple caught. We looked all over. We found one little pack of them, caught a couple, had a couple get away, and that was about it. And we went and spent some time chasing birds around, got some little football blackfin tunas, and spent a little time on the edge, caught a sailfish, and all around not too bad. Not red hot, but not too bad.
Cool. Shell, guess what I did today? I made the envelopes. So I haven't forgot about you, and I saw your name on there. Shell is from Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. And I've promised everybody no BS stickers. And so many people signed up that it's not like I have a giant staff. It's staff of me. And today I was putting labels on. So you'll be getting it. We got Jack Vitek in the house as well. So Mike, today, the biggest reason that you're in here today is you're going to be talking a little bit about the Sharktec Shark Repellent. So yep. I'm going to kind of let you run with this because I've never seen it. I've seen a couple of videos that were sent to me. I checked out the website, but I've never used it. So I'm just going to kind of let you talk, and if something catches my interest or somebody asks something, I'm going to jump in there. So go ahead.
You got it. Well, unless you've been under a rock, if you fish at all, like over the last several years, you notice more and more and more sharks. And, going back, many years ago, in the charter business, once in a while you'd have somebody that wanted to go catch a shark, and you kind of had to work at it. There were only a few areas where you could get them, certain wrecks, things like that. It wasn't like you could just stop anywhere. But lately, I mean, everywhere you go, they're showing up and they're eating your fish. Whether you're bottom fishing or I've been in sailfish tournaments this year where we had sailfish get eaten in the tournaments, and that's when one shark comes along and costs you $30,000 in a tournament, you pay attention.
No joke.
A couple years ago, one of the kids that goes as a ride along in my fishing camp, like a junior counselor, his brother and a couple of other scientists were developing this shark repellent, and they asked me if I'd be interested in checking it out or testing some stuff. They were in testing. And I said, well, yeah, sure. I mean, anything that helps. And so we went through a whole bunch of different testing, different things holding it together, would melt out faster, slower, all kinds of different product they sent along, and they formulated it. We spent about a year and a half of testing. And this was using this stuff, figuring out how to use it, how to apply it in the water where we're fishing. And right out of the gate, it was really cool. The first time we ever did it, we were wreck fishing. And, with typical wreck rig, you're dropping a main line to on a three-way swivel, a lead, and then a long leader with a live bait. And what we did is we took cut off a piece of a chum bag and put some of this stuff in there and wrapped it onto the lead and dropped it down and figured, that the current would drag it over our bait and eventually around the area where a shark would be. Now, we had been getting whacked by sharks for a solid week, and there was a lot of action on the wrecks, but the sharks were just brutal, coming up with heads or nothing at all. And the very first day we went out there, man, it was, we pulled up a grouper. Great, awesome. Now let's see what happens now that something has happened on the wreck. We dropped down again. We caught like a 20-pound true red. We let him go. He was out of season. We caught a couple muttons, another grouper, caught a cobia. And it's like, on any day, that's starting to get into some like really great fish. Not one shark bait. Not one shark bite at all. And so we figured, okay, a fluke, right? That's nothing, that's not the whole story there. So we're going to come back out here and we're going to start getting eaten up again tomorrow. And we used up everything we had over that first week. They brought us a bunch of that stuff, and we kept using it. And for a solid week, man, we were catching fish after fish. And I thought, well, again, I'm a skeptic because in the fishing business, you see something new every day. And everybody's telling you how great this is, how great that is, this lure, that. But, I believe in trying stuff too. So we ran out of the stuff. I went right back to getting whacked by the sharks. And I thought, okay, well, coincidence, we'll see. I called, up Luke Walsh and I said, hey, I tried the stuff. It appeared to work. Get me some more. I ran out. I'm getting bit up again. And, we went back and forth with that. And whenever we used it, we didn't get eaten. And I mean, not once were we getting sharked. And, we kind of, it's like a byproduct to this is we were actually getting more bites. And so in talking to the guy that really developed it, this Dr. Patrick Rice, what goes into it is actually it has an attractant quality. So it's scaring off the sharks, but it's putting a scent in the water that's bringing in other fish, which is really a bonus. It worked for that application. We've worked on it for like the guys in the Keys now. There's some guys down there, Alex Adler, a couple other guys that are using it, bottom fishing, yellowtailing and all, anchored up. They're just putting it in their chum bag with their chum. And stuff works, man. It's it took me a long time before I was really, I was seeing it with my own eyes. But again, until you're in a situation where you're looking at the shark and he's there. Because in my mind, when I was catching the fish, the sharks maybe just weren't there. And, just the luck of the draw. Well, we finally did some shallower water stuff. I had sharks around. And we had clear water. I'm in like 80 feet. 60 feet, 80 feet, we're fishing near some shallow wrecks, and we're getting fish in there. And I saw the sharks there. We put the stuff in the water in a bag, and the sharks didn't leave. They just wouldn't eat. It just turned them off. Whatever it was, it turned off the feeding. and they hung around, but never went after our fish.
Is it something that's reusable, or like you say, you put it in a chum bag and it wears out like chum would?
It melts out really slow.
Okay.
So they sell it in a package where it's maybe 3/4 or an inch thick, and let's say I don't know, about 10 by 6 kind of brick. And you cut off some pieces of that, and if you ever see one of those little chum cages?
Yeah.
Just jam some of that stuff in there, attach that to our lead, or down a leader somewhere if you want, if you're using a really long leader. And I've done like drop after drop after drop, and it looks like the stuff is still like it was when I put it in there. It melts out really slow. So that piece can last you a long time.
Okay.
You can put the stuff back in your fish box and use it later. It's not like it melts out like chum.
Okay. So does it need to be refrigerated?
Well, no, it doesn't. It comes in a package. It's not refrigerated. I throw the stuff in my fish box just to have it out of the way. Just keep it cool. But no, it doesn't.
Okay. So
it does have a peculiar odor to it. So if it's open, I don't leave it inside the boat. I leave it in the fish box. It has an interesting scent,
like the old fish scents that you would squeeze on worms or something to that nature.
I don't know. It's different from anything I've ever seen or smell. You'll know when you see it. It's but stuff works. The stuff works. It is natural. It's not some weird chemical thing. It's harmful at all. It's all naturally occurring material in there.
So let's talk. I want to bring out a little bit more of it. You're not just some guy going out to try this. You have a charter boat down in Miami.
Yep. Right on Key Biscayne.
So let's talk a little bit about your charter boat and your charter business down there, so people understand your background in fishing.
Well, it's not my first week.
That's a good thing.
No, I grew up on the charter dock at Kramden on Key Biscayne, along with some of the. I learned from the best guys that ever fished these waters. Growing up with some, on the dock with John Dudas and Quentin Dearly and Frank Godwin and just a lot of really phenomenal fishermen down there from the time I was a kid. I grew up in the business. My dad was a charter captain down there as well as my brother. I've got my boat, the Lisa L. It's a Key West #1 hull. Nice single engine, 45-footer, perfect charter boat. And we've had her since '84. Rebuilt the whole thing in 2017, and still at it. I spend summers. I've got a fishing camp for kids called the Fishing Experience. We're out there, 5-6 days a week, fishing kids all day, every day, and the rest of the year we charter.
So, before I jump into the kids side of it, where exactly do you keep the charter boat? In Kramden?
Yeah, Kramden.
Okay. So you're right next to the LNH and everybody there on the
yeah,
okay.
Same dock.
Okay.
Cutting edge, Top Gun, you name them.
So old man Neil Orange.
Oh yeah. In fact, I had the pleasure of fishing side by side in a pit with him on a big Viking the past few weeks. A little bit. That was a couple of the older guys working the pit together.
Oh, let me tell you,
a little slower than we used to.
You don't have to tell me.
No,
old man Orange.
I go way back with Neil.
He's good people. He's
good
people. I had the pleasure of fishing next to him all the years that I was on the Real Tight. We'd fish all the sailfish tournaments, and he'd always, you see him at the captain's meeting and shoot the shit, and he's one of the good old boys.
Oh yeah, you'll never see him without a smile on his face.
Man,
he's as cool as they come.
And I'm not going into big deals, but I've known his son forever and a day, since the '90s, and I had a little incident with his son, and next thing you know, I see, it was like a year later, I see the old man and Fly, come over here. I'm like, oh shit, man. I'm gonna get my ass chewed by his dad, and it's not really what I wanted. But listen, I have mad respect for old man Orange, and he pulls me aside and puts his arm around me. He's like, I appreciate what you did for my son. I'm like, what? You're kidding me? So Yeah. It's listen, Old Man Orange. I love the guy. I mean, I love sitting there, and I haven't seen him in forever. Probably since I left the Real Tight, and that's already been. I don't even want to add it. We're going on 7 years now. So
Let me tell you something. That man doesn't have any quit in him. He still works pilots. He fishes. I mean, there's a lot of young guys couldn't keep up with him still.
It's amazing. He'll pilot boats all day long, then he'll jump on the charter boat, and like you said, he does not quit. He does not quit, but and he's a great fisherman.
Absolutely,
he's a great fisherman. So, somebody just Bruce Burnett is joining in here. He's saying Grandpa Orange.
What's up, Bruce?
Actually, he's giving you mad props to your dad as well. He said respect to your dad. Also, big shout out to my boy Tarzan. If you've been watching any of my live feeds or anything on social media, this kid's 11 years old. He had a bird steal his bait yesterday, got hooked. So his mom videoed the whole thing as him dehooking this poor bird and releasing him properly.
Yeah, man, that's cool stuff.
And he's 11 years old. So
learning right young.
Exactly. This morning I got tagged in his video. He caught 8 crabs yesterday, so he cooked them up poolside for a buddy of his. So that's what they had for lunch, blue crabs. So,
man, teach him young, doing it right from a young age. I like to see that.
Exactly. Let me see what the shark repellent would be able to work. Would the shark repellent be able to work in crab pots to turn sea lions and harbor seals away from your crab gear? I don't know. Luke, if you're,
I don't think their biology would be the same, as a shark. There's this particular reason why this turns off sharks, and it has to do with the fact that I'm not giving up a huge proprietary secret because Dr. Rice has already talked about it. But one of the ingredients going into this is derived from a shark carcass.
Okay.
So, so that's a factor in there, and that's why it'll attract other fish. But it definitely it's tuned to the shark senses.
That's. There you go. I mean, and like you said, you're not giving up any propriety stuff. And I have seen blue marlin act different when we've had a shark in the boat. And this was a couple of times in Costa Rica. We had caught some sharks at night that we kept. We caught a couple of threshers. This was years ago. And as you're getting, as we're cleaning stuff up, Big Jim didn't want to stop blue marlin fishing, so we got to clean as we go. And as you got shark oils and all that stuff going out, then blue marlins didn't like that smell.
No.
They did not like that smell. They definitely, they acted differently. Oh, Luke jumped in. There you go. He's answering the question. Perfect. You guys can answer the questions, Luke. And we are going to continue talking about fishing. So, okay, so let's go from your charter business that we're going to come back and talk a little bit some more about, because in today's world, in COVID-19, where a lot of charter businesses got shut down, I want to be able to talk some more about it. So if you can make some more connections, so much the better. But now we're getting ready. Depending on what county you're in here in Florida, I think we're down to like the last 2 days of virtual school here in the state of Florida. So you're getting ready to start your kids fishing camp or academy. I don't know what it's called.
Yep. It's summer camp, but it's all fishing.
Summer School of Fish. Is that true?
That was the original name of it. Yeah, that's what we called it. We started this I started it in 2004, and it was the Summer School of Fish. We rebranded in about 2012 as the Fishing Experience.
The Fishing Experience. Now, tell us a little bit about it. You started in 2004. What was going into it? What was your main premise?
Well, it was, my son was just born, and I remember thinking, I remember growing up in the charter business. we got to go along, but the customers handled the rods. We were there, cleaning the cockpit after they get done with a fish or something, spotting the birds. But I didn't get to do the fishing, and I thought, well, I'm gonna take time. I'm gonna take my kid out when he's old enough all the time. And I thought, imagine all these kids that charter fishing. It's not cheap, and fishing in general, getting offshore. It's an expensive sport, and it just kind of evolved from there. And my mate at the time, Steve Smitty's, I'm sure you probably know him as well. He had a little boat, and he said, what we ought to do, when it's slow in the summer, we'll take some guys out and we'll charge them for fishing lessons. We'll just take a group of guys out. And my first thought was, man, guys that fish, they've already learned too many bad habits, and it's like you got to start from scratch. And you've been with enough guys out there. It's the old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Because most people, once they tried something and it worked, you're never going to convince them that is not the way. And I immediately thought, I'd rather just teach kids. I feel the same way about training mates. I'd rather take someone from scratch and teach them the right way to do things. And that took about 10 seconds before I thought, wow, that would be a great summer camp. Take the kids out and just teach them everything, man. Put everything in their hands. And I've had that same thought from the get-go, and that's what we've always done. You go out on a boat, on a charter, it's your family, and let's say you've got a 10-year-old in the group. Now, you're only going to get so many shots throughout that one day, and that one day was expensive. So you get a shot at a big wahoo or something. Are you going to have the 10-year-old catch it or gaff it or whatever? And probably not. He's going to get to catch the bait. He's going to catch that bonita. He's going to catch that kingfish. But with this, from the get-go, this is all in their hands. And you let a kid, when that leader comes up on that fish, and you say, all right, you got your gloves on, grab that gaff, go do it. And they look at you eyes wide open. They go, are you sure? Are you sure? Just, man, get in there and do it. And you let them do it. And when that fish hits the deck, I've seen kids visibly shaking. They were so excited and so nervous. They will never forget that as long as they live. And that's the experience. That's why I named the company that. That's why I named the program that, is because that's the real deal. That's the experience. And I want them to have that. I'll never forget the first time I did that stuff. And, I do this every day. So, if I can give them a little bit of that, and that's something super.
That is pretty awesome. That is way, way awesome. Now, you started that back then, and you do this all on your charter boat.
Yes. And actually, I hire out a number of other boats as well. Cutting Edge, L&H, Wildlife, Miss Brit sometimes. We've used a number of boats in the program. The demand, I've never actually been able to meet the demand. I usually sell out camp before it ever starts in the summer. The first year we did it, I set up 4 weeks, sold them out in 2 days, and that's when we had like 2 groups going every day. Now I run a full 10-week summer. I'll have up to 4 boats going every week. This summer's different, obviously, with everything shut down. Nobody booked. So now this past week, my phone's been
ringing off the hook,
blowing up. Everybody's figuring, okay, the sleepaway camps are closed. The big camps where they're on a school facility or a gym or something, they don't have access. So they're trying to find something to do. And so, this is a good, safe thing. Got a maximum of 6 kids. They're out in the sun. They're in the fresh air. The virus doesn't live in the sunlight and humidity and heat. And we got plenty of all 3 of those things.
And it's only going to be getting better and better and better. It's going to be.
Oh yeah, as things ease up, people get a little more confidence that things are going in the right direction. And we got new protocols like everybody else.
No.
I've got a great big boat. It's a lot of space. Those number 1 hulls, a huge cockpit,
lots of room. Lots of room.
Spread the kids out, bridge, cockpit, buffs on. We're setting up, I have soap buckets. And before you get on the rods, you go wash your hands. After you get off the rods, you wash your hands. It's not that hard to do. Those extra precautions. Mate, hits the rods and grips with a mitt afterwards. And, it's a safe environment.
Are you providing the buffs to the kids?
Yeah, actually, they were donated by Bluefin Alloteknos.
Okay.
I reached out to Eros, and he said, "Man, you tell me how many you need."
Because if not,
That's it.
I was willing to donate some to you right now.
And I'll still take you up on it because there's going to be a ton of kids.
You
I'd
tell
love
me.
to have.
You tell me, and I just got my shipment of 2,000 of them in. So
Far out.
you give me an address, and I'll send them down to you. You tell me how many you want.
You got it, man. Thanks,
It
brother.
would be my pleasure. It would be my pleasure to get the kids out there, make sure, number one, they're protected from the sun. Number two, they're protected, face protection and all that. So you say you got 6 kids per boat. Now, how long does this academy last for them?
Well, we usually do 3 and 5 day sessions. This year, because of the way things are going, look, face it, a lot of people got whacked financially, so they're also working on budget, So I think what I've decided is to cut it down to 3-day sessions only, and I'm going to do 2 of those every week, a Monday through Wednesday and a Thursday through Saturday. I'm able to get more kids, a little bit better on the budget versus a 5-day. And each day is, get to the dock by 8 o'clock. Boats are ready to go. Their lunches are already on board. They've ordered them, when they register online. And they just hop on. We're out of there, by about 8:10, 8:15. We pull in about 2:30 or so, between 2:30 and 3.
Okay.
Take pictures, clean the fish, send them home with fresh fish every day. Parents love that. That's a bonus.
Nice.
Give them a few good recipes that kids can cook and
What
back at it the
what
next
is
day.
what is the minimum age for the kids in this course?
We start them at 7.
7. Okay.
So
And you'll take them up to how old?
at 15, they kind of age up. They qualify to apply as a ride along, which is like a junior counselor, a second mate or like a mate in training. That's what we always call the ride along.
Okay.
And I occasionally will take kids that are 16. After that, they usually have other stuff to do with their time. Summertime, they have a different social life going on. But there are a few that really stay into it. The ones that are really serious about it end up being ride-alongs. So, and the other ones, they kind of move on to they're fishing on their own.
Yeah, by the time you're 16, you have your own car. You're going to go.
You want to sleep in. You want to go visit the friends.
Exactly. You end up going fishing at night and sleeping until noon or whatever 16-year-olds do. So that is way, way cool. Now, have any of your students, and I'm calling them students, have you noticed that any of them have made the jump into the professional side, working on any of the charter boats? A lot. Really?
A lot. I could name a ton of them off the top of my head, but when I see them posting online, hey, we won this tournament, we did that tournament, I'm fishing with this guy, I get pretty pumped up. I see these guys that I remember them when they're 9 and 10 years old. Now they're 20 something, and there they are. The coolest thing though is before that post goes up, I'll usually get a text or an email or something. Hey, look, I did this. Thanks, Mike. And that's super. That's really cool. That's my trophy case right there, man.
No, I totally understand that. There's a couple since my early years in my career. There was always a bunch of guys that were always wanted information. For me, little Jim Lambert's son, always had washdown boys, and when we'd come back in from these 6, 8 month, 12-month trips, we're washing the boats, and these 14-year-old kids are hanging out at the dock, and they're, oh man, how was St. Thomas, or how was Costa Rica, how was this? And it's like, hey man, I gotta wash the boat, but if you want to grab this mitt and wash with me, I'll tell you all. Oh, absolutely. So
hop in.
Now I'm watching them, and they're captains, they're winning tournaments, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and for me, it's awesome. Like you said, it's a great feeling when you see them on social media posting this stuff. And it's like, man, I remember when he was 15 years old, or he was 18 and he had his first broken heart, and so on and so forth. Or somebody, hold on, I don't know if they're sending in a picture or they have a question for you about sharks. Somebody saying, since we're talking about sharks, it's a picture. Okay, it's not a question. It's a picture. Shell, I'll read it in a second. Tarzan is recommending washing your boat. I'll wash all the boats. Tarzan lives up just north of Sebastian. That's a long drive for your mom, buddy.
Yeah, that's a long way to go.
That's a long way to go. Big shout out to Manny Fernandez joining in from the 72 Dolphins. I went fishing with Manny years ago, and we became really good friends. And he joins in every day from Georgia. So part of the undefeated Miami Dolphin team. So I always got to give him a shout out when I see him. He's probably going to choke me next time I see him. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't tell nobody I'm on here.
Now everybody knows where I am.
Yeah. So, well, I see the numbers come in. I see everybody joining in. I don't know if everybody else can see that. So you got the charter boat. You got the now. How did you get involved with Sharktec? How did they reach out to you in particularly?
Well, one of my current ride-alongs, Tyler, his brother is Luke.
Oh,
that put this stuff out. And it just happened to be him coming around, and we got kind of connected that way. And you talk about kids that are going on to do great things. This one is 16. Tyler is, and he took Master Angler in the first Quest tournament this year.
Wow!
And a 16-year-old going up against that field,
and that's a tough field. That's a
he was 8 for 9 on his shots, and of all things, the 9th fish got eaten by a shark right behind the boat. Man, it was tough to see.
Come on,
And of course, this kid's running across the cockpit. He's got his line dumped in free spool, trying to let the sail swim away from it. I mean, just super instincts. The kid's a beast. He's gonna be taking our money down the road. He's fantastic.
Are you saying I should just write him a check right now?
Yeah, one of those, man. I tell you what, I've seen a lot of my guys train up and they go out there. I know who my competition is.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? It's great to see it. I know I talk to a lot of people and they're talking about the next generation. I don't know about the next generation. I'm like, man, I'm watching it. And I'm sure they said the same thing about us as we were starting. And now look, so I watch these kids, and it's pretty amazing. And some fall off and they do other things. They might sell a boat or get a real job, or and I love the way we all say that, a real job, as opposed to what fishing isn't a real job. Hey,
I've never heard that one before.
Wake your ass up every day at 4:30 in the morning. And do it 200 days a year and tell me this is not a real job. But I know, and I'm going to say it, I feel that I'm very blessed that every day what I'm doing has to do with my passion. So it never feels like I'm working. I might get tired, I might get sore, achy all over the place. But I love what I do. There's never a day that I say, man, I don't want to get out of bed. I love it, and it doesn't matter if it's cold, when it's rough, I'll make some jokes. I'll offer everybody, hey, I'll take everybody to lunch if we don't go fishing, or you might see a picture of me with swordfish leads strapped to my ankles for a funny picture. I'm going to need this today. But no, I can't complain. What we do for a living is something we're very, very lucky to love what we do. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. And you've been in it since you started.
No, since I was old enough to step on the boat. I mean, we were doing it before we knew we were doing it. It's just I was on the boat as a baby, I think. So
your future was picked before you could even pick it.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Luke has, and I got to give a big shout out to Jennifer Dudas is in the house. So
hey, what's up, Jen?
She's joined in. Luke says, I will let Mike chime in with that question. Depends on the type of fishing most. Wait a second. Hold on. I got to go back. There's two questions. Would the shark repellent be able to help the tuna fishermen on the West Coast to turn the sharks away when they are albacore tuna fishing on the Oregon coast? That's the original question.
I would answer back with a question. How are they? What's the presentation? Are they anchored? Are they trolling? Are they drifting? What are they doing?
Corey, can you answer that question? Jen says, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. Hi, Mike. I'm sure I can't do a woman's voice. That's the best I can do. Hi, Mike. Sorry,
well,
Jennifer.
It didn't sound like Jennifer. Close.
Yeah, I was trying to be as nice as possible. I don't think Jennifer sounds like this. I know Jennifer doesn't sound like this. So, hey, Corey, could you answer that question? Charlie Greenberg is in the house. Good to see you, Charlie. Do you know Charlie from the Crescendo?
I'm familiar with the boat. I don't know Charlie.
Okay.
But what's up, Charlie?
Corey says they are trolling for albacore tuna off the Oregon coast, and they're losing them to sharks.
All right, so trolling is a much tougher presentation. I've been asked that before. We try to think about ways. A lot of it is just get creative. I thought about scenarios where you're moving around or you've got a fish near the boat. And maybe Luke could answer, but there was one of the guys that used this stuff down in the Keys was tarpon fishing, and he was getting eaten up by sharks, and he had a tarpon on. He broke up the stuff in some little bits, and he actually just threw it out there where his fish was swimming, and he turned the sharks off. So it's about presentation.
Okay.
With the tunas, I don't know. I don't know how far off. If you're using really long lines, they're way back. They're getting hit right away, or if it's something where they're getting chewed up next to the boat. You just got to find a way to present this stuff and get it in the water. If you're on an anchor, you put the stuff out in a chum bag, you can get a scent going. And the way that it was explained to me is it disperses in the water, much the way you've heard. A drop of blood in the water. A shark, senses that. It disperses in, let's say, a swimming pool amount of water. They can sense that from far away. Well, it's the same kind of dispersal. So if you can find a way to get it in the area, that's really kind of the answer. You got to figure that out.
Luke just chimed in. He said, water current is the determining factor and how quickly it dissolves in the water.
Yeah. If you're anchored up, a stronger current is definitely going to, it's going to, just like your chum. You throw your chum bag over. If you got a lot of current, your chum line is now a lot more narrow. It's getting pulled out. It's getting spread out on a narrower field. Very little current, see that chum slick spreads out wide all around you. So it's the same kind of theory.
Okay. Scott Edgar chimed in. Scott's from Ketchikan, Alaska. He says the commercials troll for them and the sporties cast and jig for them for the albacores. And I'm assuming he's saying when they troll, they run 10 to 40 feet back behind the boat as they're trolling for them.
I would then ask, if I were trying to figure out how to make that work, I would want to know, okay, how long between bites? Is this a constant thing? Is it like, drop it out, get the bite, drop it out, get the bite? Because if it is, I would figure out a way to either hook one of those bait chum cages on the line, like on a floss mark.
Okay.
Or I would even figure out a way. I'd throw one on a swivel and hook it on the line and let it fall right out there on my fish.
Oh, makes sense.
Hook up, clip it on, and drop it out. And, I could get that, probably get it down to all the way to the fish.
Right to the
Just
fish.
make sure you set it up in a way you're not going to de-hook your fish, but,
Good point.
It's all about getting creative, figure it out.
That reminds me of those old, what were they, the fish retrievers that you would throw on the line to get hooked on the swivel.
If you your fish.
Yeah, well, it gets it on the swivel so you can get 2 rods to it if you had a fish that died on you or something. And we used it a couple of times. You have a fish die on you and you're trying to bring it back up. Hold on, Scott just chimed in. They come up and hit in waves, hot for a while, then it quiets down as the school drops. Your advice for dropping it down the line, I can't see the whole thing, I got to jump on the big computer, but I'm sure that's what he's saying. It probably makes sense dropping it on the line. So getting it down to the fish.
You're targeting it then. But that would, for me, if you're on the troll, that really is probably the only solution there. Just get it back there though, and you'll shut them down. the thing we've been working on logistically now is that Luke got some feedback from the guys in Jupiter that are kingfishing. Okay. And so they're having a hard time, probably because those fish are on the move, they're drifting, and to get a feel to that stuff around you, get a good dispersal around you, depending on current, and that might be a challenge. So I think that something like that, to toss that on a line. If I were tournament fishing for those big kings, I would probably do it that way. I would hook it on a line and knock it down there because one fish is a big deal. If they're commercial fishing, maybe and getting a lot of small kings. I don't know how bad. I know the sharks are really bad up there, though. I mean, really bad.
They're horrible up here. I live in Palm Beach, so if you're fighting a sailfish, a kingfish, anything, there's 8 or 9 bull sharks on it before you know it. Luke says fishermen in Tampa are using it when they're tarpon fishing.
There you go.
Also, 10 years we did a long line test. 2,000 hooks, repellent, and 2,000 without. The repellent hook was 75% less shark bycatch. Hooks were in the water for 8 hours. And man, I'll tell you what, that long line it's almost like the perfect scientific test. You got same amount of hooks, same water, same everything. So it's a good baseline.
Yeah, that was some of their original testing, which I found fascinating. That's kind of intrigued me about it. I'm still trying to get a copy. I'm gonna have to ask Luke to send me a link to the video where they did some testing with it, and the video shot like from a tower on a boat, and you look down, you got some divers holding onto a line in the water, and you see the sharks all swimming around behind the boat. Those are pretty good sized sharks back there. And they took a gas canister that didn't have the stuff in it. They threw it in the water, and you could see in the boat, and the sharks actually came up. It looked like one took a shot at it, and it kind of excited them and didn't scare them away anything. Then they did it with the stuff in it. They threw that in the water. Those sharks bolted, and then they came back up like to check it out, but they couldn't even get close to it. They got a scent. They all took off, and they kept the video going. They were gone. They were gone, man. They did not like that stuff.
Luke, can you post it in the comments right now? If you're allowed to. I can't. I don't know if he can't. If it's something that's proprietary, don't do it. But if you can, so people can see how it works. If you have a link of it, like a YouTube link or something. Tarzan, see you later. He says goodbye, Mike, and goodbye, Fly.
See you. You make it down to Miami. You're welcome to come wash my boat, buddy.
There you go, Tarzan. It's all you. Good kid. He's a really good kid. Perfect. He's posted it up in the comment section so people can look at it. Chemical shark repellent trial, Bimini, March 2013.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was good stuff.
C-Link, thank you so much. Luke, I appreciate it. Scott's laughing from Catch a Can. It's pretty neat. I haven't even given everybody shout outs because I don't want to interrupt you, but just so you have an idea, I have my good friend Abdullah in the house. He's a charter captain out of the Maldives. Alex and his wife from Cameroon are on here. Scott's from Alaska. So you got people jumping in from all over the place. So this is it's one of the cool things about broadcasting live on Facebook. There's no limits. It goes just about everywhere. So it's way cool. First half are blank cans. Second half are cans with repellents. There you have it. I'll make sure he sends or gets a copy of it, and or maybe if I can do it, copy link address, and I will send it to you in a text message. You know why? Because that's the kind of guy that I am. Let's see if that worked. You should get it on your phone here in a second. It's that same group text message. I don't know if it worked. Oh, Guatemala's in the house. Also, Potomac, Washington's in the house. You can't knock social media. Like you were telling me earlier, where you spent your whole year's salary or all your profits to broadcast on radio. Look at this. You're going to get it out there. Also, for the shark repellent, for your charter boat. Now, if anybody wants to find the fishing school for kids or your charter boat, what's the best place to find it?
Fishmiami.com.
Seriously?
Doesn't get any easier than that.
Fishmiami.com. Really? You got that one.
I got that one.
Holy.
It popped up a couple years ago. I got lucky enough to see it first. I nailed it. It was expensive.
I could only. So, my website is Fly Zone Fishing. I wanted just to do Fly Zone. But Fly Zone, I looked into it, and it's owned by no other than Nike and Michael Jordan.
Oh, shoot. Good luck with that one.
Well, here's the funny thing. Michael Jordan was supposed to fish my tournament in Chubb. I figured I could make him some kind of sweet deal, you know. Maybe I can get it. Listen, anything's possible. Don't tell me I can't do something.
Note, he caught his first sailfish aboard my boat.
Did he really?
Yeah, man. Several years ago, I had Neil Preston mating with me. He's down fishing in Kona now, but had him mating with me. Had Michael Jordan come out. He was staying on a 140-foot fed ship right out of Key Biscayne Yacht Club, and I got a call the night before from, you know, a handler that said, "Hey, look, I got a VIP on a yacht. Pick him up tomorrow." And I got some people that I take out, and that's how you do it. You don't know who's going. You just know you got somebody going, and you know discretion is important.
Absolutely.
We got there in the morning. It was blowing 25 plus out of the northeast. I knew it was going to be nasty. The British captain comes out in his epaulets out of the boat, and I said, "Look, Captain, it's going to be a little sporty out there. Are these folks, the old folks, young folks, who we got going?" He goes, "Well, young." He said, well, you got Michael Jordan going." And I said, "Oh, okay. He should be able to handle that." And I went inside the boat and I said, "Hey, Neil, we got Michael Jordan going." And then I thought, "Oh, no, we're not going to get past the reef. It's blowing too hard." And, but he held in there great. His girlfriend, a little case of mal de mer, but he did real well, man. He got out there within 10 minutes. We had a triple of sails on. He had his hands in the air, and he said, "I'm a fisherman now." Conquered another sport.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. Oh my God, I can't even remember what year it was. I want to say it was 2002. We helped Dan Marino and Zach Thomas catch their first sailfish down in Costa Rica. But that was flat calm. That was flat calm. But I'll tell you what, the best part was at the end, throwing him in the water. That was the best part. And Zach Thomas, that's a strong mofo. That guy's the real deal.
That took some pushing.
Well, luckily for me, he was distracted. There was 3 mates that day, and of all people taking the picture was Tony Saragusa. And he was on our boat. We were on the dock. We were like, "Hey, we got to get him on the finger pier so it's not that hard to push him in." And Saragusa's there with his camera. Somebody was videoing it. And I'm like, as soon as we take the picture, I'm going to push him in. And Dan Marino puts his arm around my head. And I'm thinking, son of a bitch, there's no way I'm going to push him in without me going in. And next thing you know, the other mate on the boat says, "Hey, congratulations." So he actually takes his arm from around my neck to shake his hand. I said, "You're done. You're done." So right then I pushed him. When I turned around, Zach Thomas literally engulfed the other mate like an octopus on a clam. And I couldn't see the other guy. So all I could see was Zach just on him. And I came up and pushed everybody in the water, hands up in the air. And Saragusa's like, "Oh, the real type boys got your ass."
Nice.
I'm the only person. So later on, when when everybody saw the video, and I was the only person that didn't end up in the water, here we are coming back from dinner, and I get cornered by everybody. It's like, "Hey man, you didn't go for a swim." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" All 4 of us went for a swim. You didn't.
Oh boy,
I lost, dude.
Yeah, that's the kind of crowd you're not gonna end that one well. They're gonna get you.
Oh my gosh, they all got me, including my other partner on the boat, the other mate that came from the other boat. They all cornered me, it's like they each had an arm, a leg, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to move this life from here to here. Luke has asked me if I would share. Luke, could you also share your website? He's offering up 25% off on Sharktec if you use a code, and I can put it on the overlay here.
Don't give it away, Luke. Don't give it away.
Listen, Luke is the one
for
that...
those listening, jump on it. That's the real...
So I'm going to do the text message or the text overlay. So I can't see you for right now. The discount code is going to be FLY25. And I'm going to post it. You can't see it, Mike. Sorry, buddy. But everybody else can see it. There's the discount code, FLY25. And also Luke... there it is. You put it in Sharktec Defense. Hey, Luke, could you put that in the text message as well, and I'll post it right here on the actual video so everybody can see it. I will get rid of this bad boy. You can't see all this stuff that I have on. Let everybody see discount code. And yeah, Luke, if you can post that in our group text message, I'll just copy and paste it and put it up so everybody can have the opportunity to know the website. I'm assuming on the website there's some videos on how to use... Actually, I know there's a video because I seen your boat on there when I first checked it out. So, thank you. Isn't it awesome how this stuff works? Technology. Overlays, new text. Sorry, Mike. I'm typing away. There you go. Add. And, I need to edit that, make it a better color so somebody can see it. Let's see, got to go to this window, and how's that look? Oh, much better. All right. I'm not a tech guy, but I can open up a can of worms. There you go. Everybody can see that. SharktecDefense.com. Use the code. 25% off your order. Just... so everybody knows, they can't read the I'm not making any money off of this. I'm just putting it on there so you guys can see it. If you guys want to check it out, go check it out. The discount code is right below it, FLY25. That's pretty easy to remember. So if it's not written down, that's some good lifelong memories. What's life's all about. Isn't that the truth, Scott? And we got distracted on putting this stuff up for Luke, but that's the best part about taking people out fishing for their first ones.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, I mean, we're lucky enough we get to take what people consider celebrities. Oh my God. Are you a baseball fan?
A little bit.
So I have the best celebrity baseball story. So when I first started working on the Real Tide, I had just moved back from Venezuela. I'm a giant Yankee fan. My parents took me to a Yankee game when I was 3 years old. Or 3 weeks old. I don't remember it, but there's pictures of it. So I'm a Yankee fan for that reason and that reason only. And the guy that I worked with, my captain in Venezuela, was from Connecticut, so he's a Red Sox fan. So the 4 years I worked with him, it was some of the greatest stuff in the world. Do you know Billy Bohr? He used to run the El Zorro. He ran the El Zorro for a bunch of years. Anyway, so big Red Sox fan, and on that little game fisherman we had, it was a 40-foot game fisherman. There was 2 drink boxes. The owner sat on one, the other mate sat on the other, and I sat on the bridge ladder so I can talk to Billy all day long. And we would pick on each other about baseball most of the summer in St. Thomas. And so fast forward, my last season with him was the Yankees against the Mets in the Subway Series. And they beat the Mets. And, you know, I'm happier than a pig in shit. I'm pretty happy. So I come home. I get the job on the Reel Tight. Hey, we're taking some people out fishing. Okay, whatever. We're taking some people out fishing. So I show up to the boat. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm getting all the rods ready. And this guy shows up. And it's dark out. There's no sun out. All I can remember is this ugly ass Mets sweater. It's bright orange. And I'm like, who in their right mind would wear something that ugly? And so he shows up. I said, hey, good morning. How are you? I'm Fly. He tells me his name. And hey, come on board. And as he's jumping on board, I realize he's got a pair of Mets sweatpants too. I'm like, boy, doesn't he know that the Mets just lost to the Yankees in the World Series? And so when he jumps on board, and you know, I've never been one to, I don't have a filter from here to here. So as he jumps on board, I shake his hand, I look at him, and I'm like, Mets fan, huh? Bummer, sucks to be you. And doesn't say
I have a feeling he was there.
Doesn't say a word to me. So by 8 o'clock, it dawned on me as they're talking back and forth, it's Al Leiter, the starting pitcher.
Oh, no.
For the New York Mets. So we had Al Leiter and Jeff Conine. And I still have the ball that they signed and they gave me. And I'm surprised they didn't throw the ball. I'm a firm believer. Listen, we all put on our pants the same way. I continued busting his chops about it. But it's one of those things that everybody else on the crew, on the Reel Tight, we still tell that story because you idiot.
Listen, the best stories come out of days on the water sometimes.
Absolutely.
Hey, when Jordan was sitting on the boat smoking his Cuban cigar and drinking a Corona, glowing in his conquering a new sport, right? We're BS, and he said, you fished your whole life, and is that what you do year round? I was like, yeah, I've been doing this since I was a kid, but I was thinking about retiring, taking up baseball. He was sitting in a side chair looking back. He stopped for a second. He turned around. He said, well, good luck with that. Watch out for that slider.
Oh, that's so funny. But, I had another guy, and I don't know who he was as far as a name, but he played for the Miami Heat, fishing with us in Venezuela back in the 90s when I was fishing in Venezuela. And listen, I can throw out a name, but I can't remember. All I know is we were inside the salon going out, and anybody that's spent any time in Venezuela knows it's rough. And I don't think we got past the breakwater before his head was inside the garbage can. And I'm like, oh man, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. What's that?
It's going to be a long day.
It was
for him.
For him.
Or a short day for you. I don't know.
And it ended up being a short day. We didn't fish very long before. Luke, which one a true story? Because I know all my stories I'm telling you are truth. There's no, why make a story up? I mean, these are all true. No, these are all true story.
Get some good ones, especially being in this business.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second. I got a really good story because you're probably going to see him before I do. I have a great Brett Dudas story. And he's joined in on the live before, and I don't see him here today. So he was on vacation in Bermuda, and he came out fishing with us. And I've said this before on the live when he was watching, but you can repeat it. He was sitting up on the Reel Tight on the ladder, holding himself in on the bridge deck, and he fell asleep. So as the boat's kind of rocking, and he falls asleep, and his head's just going from side to side. Brett's a big dude, man. I mean, and I'm not very big. I mean, I'm 5'8" on a good day. My only thing I got going for me is when I talk, I'm 6'4". My mouth makes me feel like I'm 6'4". So he falls asleep, and I'm thinking, it's going to be pretty funny if I write the L and R on his shoes, on the back of his shoes, on his sneakers, in the green and red to go with port and starboard. So we have a full boat of people, and we're getting the biggest laugh out of it. And Jim is like, hey man, that's a big guy. If he comes down here and if he doesn't take it very well, he's going to kick your ass.
Oh, Brett's got a good sense of humor.
He has a great sense of humor. And in retrospect, it was Brett that helped us win the tournament that day because we got a bite on the left short and we couldn't see the fish. But he's like, he's there. He's in the whitewater. And the fish was literally hiding in the whitewater. Just when you're thinking of, is he there? Is he not there? It had already been a few seconds where did he fade off somewhere? He's like, no. He's still hiding in the whitewater. So Jim just gave that one little pop, and right there, I mean, like clockwork. It's like a bear jumping out of the bush, right on it. Whoosh! Piles on it, hook him up, and it's like the last 15 minutes of the tournament. And sure enough, that was what we needed to put us right into first. And so, yeah, listen, I had to say thank you. I still say thank you for that. But it was still hilarious, the paint on his shoe left and right. The only thing is he wasn't the only person we did that to. We've done it with a lot of people. If you fall asleep, it's kind of, if you fall asleep in the cockpit, it's kind of open game.
Well, when you go back to Neil Orange, when little Neil turned 18, he made an exit from home. So we, my roommate and I kind of took him in. We had an apartment, a bachelor pad, right? So we took him in and we said, listen, here's the rules though. We kept a nice place, a nice apartment, and we had a lady come in and clean. And we, said, listen, you come in from fishing, don't sit on the couch. You get those fishing clothes off. He was working for John Louis at the time on the LNH. So, he was working the pit there. He came home a mess every day.
Yeah.
And he'd come, you know what it's like. You're out there all day. You stink to high heaven. So you get those fishing clothes off, stick them out on the balcony, and you do your laundry. And sure enough, man, like one of the first days he was there, we walk in and he's laying on the couch in his fishing clothes and he is passed out. I mean, full on raccoon eyes. He looks salty and crusty, and he is on my sofa. And we're like, well, hey, Neil, get up. Neil, get up. I kick him, and he doesn't move. And it's like, all right, go get the Christmas decorations. And the Sharpie and the liquid paper and whatever else we could find, and we decorated that boy. And when he finally woke up, I just wish I had a smartphone back then.
Oh my God. If we had smartphones when we were younger, I probably wouldn't be able to do the things I do now.
No, I wouldn't be in business anymore.
No. I had, I don't know if you know Kenny Ross. I had one of his twins on the boat, and he fell asleep. And listen, I've painted more toes and fingernails than you could ever imagine, but this kid kept sleeping through all the toes, all the fingernails. So we gave him a pencil thin mustache, we gave him some tattoos. So when we get back to the dock, and his dad was tied up right next to us, we were on the T head and he was just on the other side. His boy walks off, and I think he was like 13 years old at the time. He jumps up on the dock. He's like, what in the hell happened to you? The poor kid looked like Captain Ron when we were done with him.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think we've all tortured a few people over the years.
That's
kind of a rite of passage.
It really is. It is a rite of passage. If you're the young kid on the dock or on the boat, I had a kid cry. I've had a few kids cry on me. I had one kid actually quit. I was fishing the Big Rock one year, and I went up to fish with my group of guys. They were just my friends. There was a new kid on the boat, a new mate, and they fished all the other tournaments, the Swansboroughs, everything else, and I keep telling them, wait till Fly gets here. Wait till Fly gets here. You're in trouble. Wait till Fly gets here. And he's like, who is this Fly? And why do I got to worry about it? So we fished the first day. And if you're fishing the Big Rock, it's it's like 2.5, 3 hour run in. Yeah. So the kid takes a nap, and I don't care. But I'm of the school, hey, when we're coming in, especially once you get to that head buoy, we're soaping the pit, we're getting the drink box redone. Everything is done before we hit the dock if we can. So
you want to hit the dock and get off the boat.
Exactly. I want to get done. So get the drink box filled, wash the entire cockpit, wash all the rods, chamois the rods. We start putting him in, and as soon as we start putting him in, we open the door and he hears because I'm passing the rods to the charter. Hey, put him in. And he walks out. I go, hey man, where's the big hose? I don't see the big hose. And he's like, it's on the dock. I'm like, hey man, make sure that thing's on here by this afternoon because we need it for the rest of the week. He goes, it was flat calm today. What do we need it for? I said, you see that overhead on that bridge? That's all salt spray. I go, this boat needs to be hosed. And I go, and you're going to make sure this hose is on there by tomorrow. And he starts stomping around. Well, anyway, long story short, by the time we tied the boat up, he didn't even plug in the shore cords. He grabbed his 3 lures, and he was gone.
Oh,
he was gone.
Well, you can't have thin skin in this business.
No, you can't.
You're not going to survive some of the lessons if you do, because some of them are tough.
Oh, my gosh. But you know what? They make you who you are. I don't know if you remember Chris Turner.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Chris Turner worked with me on the Real Tide. He was there first before I was there, and I remember him and Cujo sat me down in my house. And I to this day I still think about it. I was a young kid. I was 27 years old. I had just bought my first house. I didn't even have furniture. I had those little fold-out chairs that when you go camping or hunting, you fold out, sit by. They got the only 2 chairs, and they made me sit down on the floor, and they had a stern talking to me. And
they explained to you a few things.
Oh, my God. And, and I'm thinking to myself, even to this day, I'm thinking to myself, it was my house, and they sat me down in my house.
Gave you a beat down.
And gave me a beat down, but you know what? I deserved it. I look back, and I deserved it. You were talking about training these young kids or young mates. You'd rather get them before they got any bad habits. And that's the problem. And I don't want to say that's the problem with young mates. That's just the problem with a lot of people. When they get just a little bit of information, they think they know it all. And at 27 years old, I thought I knew it all until I got put down really quick. And I needed it. And I see that a lot. Just enough information to get yourself dangerous.
Yeah, that's pretty universal. It extends beyond fishing. When you're young and you know everything, and then you grow up and realize you don't know a whole lot. But I've always tried to be a good student and a good teacher. Both ends of it. I can fish with anybody and learn something new. Because I'll pick up a little thing they do instinctively and say, hey, you know what, that's good. I know that everything I do is not perfect. It's not the way. And I might notice something that somebody did just on a whim and think, that's really neat. That's a cool little trick there. And I'll incorporate that in, my little toolkit as well.
Absolutely. And you get invited more often if you go on a boat and you listen like that. I know since I came back from Hawaii, whatever, it's 7 years now, 5 years, and I started freelancing, I get on a boat and it's like, do whatever you want. It's like, man, this is your cockpit. I'm not going to change what you're doing. You guys do it the way you do it, and let me look, and if I see something that maybe might be better, I'll whisper in your ear. If not, this is your cockpit. I'm here to support you, not vice versa.
Yeah. The best guys in the business, the best captains, professionals, I don't care how good they are, will get on someone else's ride and know that that's their program and say, hey, where do you want me? I'm here to do my job. And, if you want to ask me something, or if you, want my opinion, fine, ask for it. But this is you're at the wheel. This is your gig.
This is your job.
You're in charge. And most guys I know that are serious, you're good professionals, they're the same way. They have total respect for the guys at the wheel, and that's just the way it is. When you get some guys that learn a few things and they show up and, let's say you got a more yachty captain on a boat and doesn't know about the fishing as much, and young guy will show up and kind of want to take over and be a captain cockpit, as I call him. And I still will, and unless they're deferring to me and saying, okay, listen, usually that kind of guy will take you aside and say, listen, I'm a boat driver. I run the boat, I maintain the boat, but I'm not a fishing guy. Just do your thing. If there's something you need from me, you tell me. But you know how it is in this business. You've got guests on the boat. You're not going to sit there looking up, telling somebody what to do.
No.
It's like, no, he's the captain. It's his ride. If we have to have a little chat, we do that on the side. It's very much a team thing if you're doing it right.
Absolutely. You tell me I'll do it. Just make sure you're clear.
You make me look good. I'll make you look good. We'll make the guests look good, and everybody have a good time.
That's the most important thing. That is as long as everybody is happy, But
this is way too cool a sport for people to be button heads. But you see it all the time. There are certain personalities that just naturally, just kind of the folks that, and these are some really great fishermen out there, but they have that thing where they're just a little bit rigid, and they don't want to do anything different, so it's kind of tough. I'd rather fish with people that are just bottom line, have a good time.
My only thing that I'm rigid about, just please tell me what you want, and I'll do it. You don't have to tell me 3 times. Just tell me once, and I'll
tell me what you want. You don't have to explain how. You tell me what you want, I'll make sure it happens.
I don't need a reason for it. I'll do it all day long. You're the captain, and I'm more than happy to do it. Because you earned your spot, and now if you ask me my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. But if not, it's my opinion, and you know what they say about opinions. So I don't want to be that one. Exactly. Anyway, Mike, I want you to hold up there. I'm going to start wrapping this up. Sean, all the way from Antigua, Sean, all the way from Alaska, good to see you. Michelle Berlino, good to see you. Pagano, if you're still there, maybe we can get Wink to reenact that one day. I know I can get Chris Turner to yell at me. All I got to do is call him up and ask him to do it. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching afterwards, I got a right there. You see that website? Go check this website out about Sharktec and use that code right there. Get 25% off to check out the Shark Repellent. No. Pagano says, no, let's not reenact that. I don't blame you. I don't blame. Once is enough, that's all. I know that's all I needed. And to this day, I still remember it. Anytime I think I'm too big for my britches, I try to remember that. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your time. If you remember, if you can hit that share button, let everybody know what we're talking about every day. We come at you live every day on Facebook until this whole quarantine thing is completely over with. Give everybody a chance to chit-chat and talk to other fishermen. Thank you so much, Captain Mike and Luke. Thank you so much for all the information on the side, helping all of us. Anthony Mandello joining us in late. Anthony, good to see you. And like I said, Captain Mike, hold on there for a second. And all you cool cats and kittens, I will see you mañana. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you later.